Okay, so I guess this is another in my pro tips video series. Now, when it comes to arguing with someone, it is very important to distinguish between the central point and the supporting points. In order to effectively counter an argument, you have to take down and counter the central point. Taking down a supporting or an implied supporting point is not good enough. The argument has to somehow, directly or indirectly, counter the central point. Here's an example of someone who failed at that. There's another YouTuber named Justicar, and I argued with him in the comments. It went like this. I made the argument that government is a social construct, because a social construct is something which is real, which we believe is real, which exists because we act on the belief, and we believe in a social environment that exists. But if there were no humans to think about it, to act on the belief in it, it would not exist. Hence, government is a social construct, since we cannot sense it, or touch it, or pick it up at all. But even though we can't do that, it still exists as a social construction. His counter-argument was that animals have a government too. So even if there were no humans to think about government, animals would have a government as well. So therefore I'm wrong. The problem is that the only thing you can really imply from his argument is that animals have their own social construction of government. But this does not in any way counter my central point that government is a social construct. It merely attacks an implied supporting point. So I didn't even make the supporting point that he attacked. It was merely implied. But because his counter-argument didn't even attempt to counter the central point of my argument, it doesn't get off the ground and fails utterly to do so, because his argument was that government can't be a social construction because one of my supporting points implies something that doesn't seem to be true. So yeah, not only does it completely not fail to make the distinction between supporting and central points, but this makes the fallacy. Now there's the informal kind of internet usage of fallacy to just mean whenever you accuse people of fallacy when they didn't make it, but the official definition of fallacy is just because someone has a fallacy or something wrong in their argument somewhere doesn't automatically mean that their argument's bad, and it doesn't automatically mean that their conclusion is false. Now that's a kind of a big topic, so I'll get into the definition of that maybe in some other video. But yes, so he was also making a fallacy in that sense as well. So hence why it's important to understand fallacies and to distinguish between central and supporting points in arguments.